So the reality is, when it comes to choosing and picking out, very mass-pleasing style scents, a lot of times, generally, you'll find yourself gravitating towards maybe the blue fragrances, or I don't know, maybe the super sweet fragrances like an Armani Code Profumo or Absolute, or kind of a mixture of both worlds, kind of like an Invictus. So there's fresh and kind of ambroxan, but there's also a bubblegummy sweet. You kind of find yourself looking at that crowd. And there's nothing wrong with those fragrances at all. I feature them often. I wear them often, right? They're good fragrances. But today's video is going to be for the people who want sophisticated and classy smelling fragrances, but you don't want to compromise that mass appeal. Because this is also the truth that you can go in the classy, sophisticated direction, but then find yourself down a rabbit hole of fragrances that the general public probably won't really like the smell of. And we want to try to avoid that with these fragrances here. So that's really what we're going to be talking about today. Sophisticated compliment getters. I will provide links to all of these down below to discounters as well. So if you want to pick some of these up and add them to your collection, you can do so. A lot of these trend relatively fresh. Tried to do that to align with what's going on here in the northern hemisphere, kind of moving into spring and summer. So you guys down below, I'm sorry, go watch some of my winter videos. You'll find some fragrances like that, but we're trying to gear up for the warmer weather ahead. So we're going to go and start this one off with Michael Kors Extreme Rush. Blood orange, juniper, and clary sage are some of the main notes. So this is part of a line from Michael Kors, the Extreme line. I have 2 of them. I believe there's 4 in total, maybe 5. I have Extreme Sky and this one, Extreme Rush. I do plan on picking up the others at some point because right now I'm 2 for 2. I really like the 2 that I have and that I've smelled. Extreme Sky, it's very summertime oriented, very ozonic. This one here is aromatic and a bit sweet. But not too sweet to where it's like a winter fragrance. It's aromatic, kind of woody, that sort of thing with hints of sweetness. To me, if I had to choose a time to wear this one, it would be springtime. It's impressive, very impressive stuff. Given the price point, given the fact that it is from a mainstream designer brand. This one here branches out and kind of puts its finger on a different category of men's fragrance. And I think that's very, very remarkable. So it's very clean, fresh, woody. It's just one that smells so classy, so upscale. I can imagine a gentleman wearing this one, someone who is a bit more grown up and you want something that will portray you in a mature light. Up next, we have Mr. Burberry Eau de Parfum. So this one here happens to be a tester, and I'll show you the proof. First of all, you have this ugly barcode. On the side, you have the note breakdown right there. Not right there, you can't see that, but right there. So that's something that they do with testers, so that way when it's sitting in the department store, people can look at the notes, as if most people really look at that anyway. Let's be real, most general consumers who are purchasing these things at full retail probably aren't doing research on the note breakdowns, but it is a cool little touch. The reason why I'm showing you this is because it does come with a cap. Patchouli, cardamom, and mint are some of the main notes. So I like this one. It's a warm spicy, so kind of going to be good for a colder, gloomy spring day. Work great in fall as well. Not quite sweet enough for winter, not quite, fresh enough for summer. Kind of falls in that direction. It also has a little bit of a different twist going on here. Now, I don't want to lead you on and say that this is a 100% unique fragrance that you've never smelled before. It does have kind of a modern, somewhat generic kind of approach to it, especially in the base. But you'll find, though, that there are kind of nuances of this one where it goes in a different direction. It tries to do something different. It's a little bit of a refresh on a super kind of widespread DNA that would work for anybody. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of what this one does. It's kind of what the brand Burberry tries to gravitate towards in general, big designer brand. So this is a fragrance that's going to work for a lot of guys out there, whether your taste is in fresh or sweet or a little bit of everything. It just works. Same with age ranges, everything there. But again, it does have this sophistication about it. Very mass-pleasing as well, but I find just the warm, spicy aspect of this one really gives it kind of a classy, upscale approach that I don't necessarily get from everything out there. So we're going to go with a cheapie up next. This one typically is about $20 for 100 ml on clearance. Sometimes maybe $25, but it's always going to be in that price range. Very affordable. And to me, it still blows my mind how cheap this one is and how good it is as well. It's Roberto Cavalli, Uomo, just the original. We have violet, honey, and tonka as some of the main notes. Wow, love it, absolutely love it. You get some sweetness from the honey, a little bit of a dusty, powdery smell from the tonka. The violet gives it a fresh balance, so it doesn't go too sweet, doesn't go too fresh either. It's perfectly evened out, making this one fantastic for spring, for fall, kind of in those transitional seasons as well. And that's kind of the trend here somewhat with a good amount of these, you know. They have a combination of a little bit of fresh, a little bit of sweet. And for me, that's really what makes a good sophisticated fragrance. You know, if you think about it, you get something too fresh and citrusy, it's a little bit maybe basic, a little bit casual. You get something way too sweet, right? Maybe it's too playful, or maybe it's too situational specific or something along those lines. So fragrance is kind of in the style of this one, and a lot of these tend to work very well, and I do view them as being very classy and sophisticated. This is going to be one of the more affordable ones in here, and it's absolutely amazing. I encourage you to check this one out. So we're going to go over to a very popular fragrance line. This is it their newest release? It's kind of hard to say because they had a couple put out around the same time, I believe last year. It's Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum Intense Gold. So I do believe they released this one, and then they also released The One Luminous Night, relatively close together. So we've got Blood Orange, Clary Sage, and Cardamom in this one. Are you seeing a trend? A little bit, you know, aromatics, some spices. Blood Orange, I think, has shown up a couple times now, and you'll see some other similar notes throughout the video as well. But that's what it is for me. You know, when I go through and I smell each of these, I'm like, man, that has a kind of a gentlemanly, sophisticated, classy smell about it. And I love it. You know, of course, the original The One would be a good pick for this video, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper than that. That one's very surface level. A lot of people wear it. A lot of people are tired of it. And The One Gold is a flanker that I think could be a little bit hard to fully pick up and appreciate because it's buried. At this point, there are so many flankers. But I wanted to shine a little bit of light on this one. Not that it needs it. This bottle is incredibly reflective, right? And also very fingerprinted up. That's one of the drawbacks with a bottle like this. But shine light on it in a way that you should get your nose on this one and try it out because you may end up really liking it. All right, let's try to pick up the pace a little bit here. We have Dior Homme 2020. We've got Cashmere, ISOE Super, Vetiver, Musk, Bergamot. What can I say? It is a modern men's designer scent. This is the modern man in 2022. This is what he would smell like, the modern guy. It's Dior Homme 2020. Now, it also has this classy smell as well. I mean, it's basically all woods, right? From the Vetiver to the ISOE Super, giving off a woody smell. I do believe there is a cedar wood. The Cashmere kind of gives off this faux woodiness, clean woods, a lot of musk as well. But it's just so modern, so clean, so fresh, and it does have a classy appeal. Not going to blow your mind. It's not a unique creation by any standard, but it does get amazing compliments, and it does smell classy. So let's go over to this one next. We have Nuit Fraiche by Caron. Ozonic notes, bergamot, and Gaiac wood, some of the main notes. Very simplistic, but yet still so nice. You know, it also has a nice woody undertone, ozonic notes giving it a freshness, a little bit of a bright bergamot pop, citrus pop up top. You know, it's pretty laid back, pretty simplistic, like I mentioned. There's not a whole lot to this one, and that's why I like it. You know, it's not trying to cram a bunch of filler in here to make it smell more than it is, right? They kind of embrace the fact that, hey, this one is pretty laid back. It's easy to wear. It's easy to get along with, you know. It's not a challenge to pull off because there really isn't too many different layers of this one like maybe some of these other ones. So this one will be a bit more, I don't know, easier to pull off in some instances, just a bit more simplistic, but it does still have that kind of sophisticated smell. Up next, a fragrance I really like a lot. There's a whole bunch in this line, but there's two in particular I'm looking at. Bulgari Man Wood Essence. Absolutely love it. And another one that I was thinking about when putting this one together was Bulgari Man Wood Neroli. You could put that one in here too. Maybe it's an honorable mention, Wood Neroli. If you have that one, you're set. But also I wanted to feature something a little bit different, and that is wood essence. So of course we have cypress, cedar wood. We also have benzoin. It does have a, what is it, citrus with sugar accord in here, which I love, and may sound a little bit silly because, I don't know, maybe it just does, but you actually pick up on it. It does have this sweetened citrus smell. The woods come through right away, immediately giving some support to that sweet citrus. The benzoin is something that will start to show up more so in the base. To make a long story short, this one smells so classy. And to me, it kind of smells almost like a gloomy spring day. I'm not sure what it is about it. I just kind of find comfort in how this one comes across, from the sweet kind of citrus up top, the citrus with sugar, which again it really does come across that way, and then the woods and a little bit of a dusty benzoin coming through. It's a comforting fragrance, but yet it's still very masculine, refined, and for sure sophisticated, and it's a people pleaser. Let's go over to this one next. Not probably, it is the heaviest, heftiest bottle in this video. It's Dunhill Icon. Now, what's so funny about this is when you pick up a bottle like this, you would automatically assume, at least I would, that the fragrance costs more than like $40, because that's how much it costs. You get a hold of something like this, it feels like it would cost $100, and at retail it probably does, but I mean, you would feel like you would have to actually put down $100, even at discounters, to be able to hold something like this. And when you click in the cap, listen for this. I mean, that's authority. Neroli, bergamot, and black pepper. So this one has believe it or not, it's got a grape soda smell. And that may sound like the complete opposite of a sophisticated fragrance, smelling like you spilled grape soda all over yourself like a child, but it's not. It does have that smell. But what's so crazy is it still has this classiness, this masculine, kind of refined, gentlemanly smell. I don't know how to describe it. The best way for me to describe it is for you to smell it. Pick it up on a blind buy. It is blind buy safe, at least in my opinion. I love it. I'm going to go and spray this one up in the air because that opening is amazing. It's a men's floral to some extent. It's heavy on the neroli. But, it smells great. Like a sweet bergamot and neroli mixture, this grape smell, light musk and woods in here. So it feels good to be able to feature this one now, because this fragrance is now available in the United States to purchase. So I'm throwing it in. It's Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. So this is one of those bottles where I have to cover it up. Otherwise, you see my face through it. Sea notes, clary sage, mineral notes, orange, and lavender are some of the main notes. Note breakdown is going to throw some people off. Has a lot of similarities to Profondo, but this is much more than a Profondo knockoff, okay? It's a more mature take on the original Acqua di Gio. It has little tidbits of Essenza thrown in here. It has little tidbits of Profondo thrown in here. And guess what? It has little tidbits of Profumo just thrown right in here. Do you like these hand gestures? That's how it is. I mean, it's so crazy to me because they have so many flankers at this point. It's an eau de parfum, so it's literally playing off of that original DNA, but they're still able to make it its own. Yes, it has bits and pieces of others in the line, but it's still its own fragrance, and that is impressive to me, because when I smelled this one for the first time, I was blown away. You can watch my first impressions. I wasn't for sure what else they could do in this line without going in the direction of like Absolute, for example, where it's quite a bit different, but they managed to just knock it out of the park with this, and I absolutely love it. Mature to the max, sophisticated to the max. If you wore Acqua di Gio in high school when you were a high schooler and now you're a grown adult, you would have a lot of respect for this fragrance, right? It really is a grown-up version. It smells beautiful, and of course, you already know it's going to be a huge compliment getter. Alrighty. Oh, we're on our last one already. That went quick, right? We have Cartier Eau de Cartier Vetiver Bleu. So that was kind of a cluster. Eau de Cartier Vetiver Bleu, basically. So what's cool about this is it has an on and off button. It literally says, I don't know if it'll show up on camera. Let's get up and close and personal. Off right there, on right there. You twist it. A little locking mechanism. This here smells amazing. And you know what? It smells like a Cartier. We have vetiver, mint, and licorice is some of the main notes. you get all those. I mean, it's kind of the 3-note breakdown thing that brands are doing, but that's really what you pick up on. Green mint up top, nice woody vetiver in the base. The licorice kind of comes through in the mid and kind of right off the opening as well, giving it this sweet balance. Super unique, even though it is minimalistic. It's classy to the maximum, just like really all Cartier fragrances are. And it's one that people don't talk about, but I highly encourage you to check out this stuff here. It's really impressive. It put a smile on my face when I first smelled it. I'm like, yo, this here, this is cool stuff. From someone that has to smell things, new things, basically on an almost daily basis, it's cool to get something like that that kind of just takes me off guard. So that's going to do it for me, guys. That is 10 classy and sophisticated fragrances that also still pull compliments. You're not going too daring with these. You're going to smell amazing. You're going to smell like you have some sort of concern about your maturity and you're not trying to smell youthful, but you're still going to get compliments. Links to all these will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.